It's still a cold, windy day. I got the ratchet set up here. The last bolt that's holding the transmission on. And that's what's going to catch it. These pallets. This is the sacrifice pallet, and this one will hopefully still be intact. I can wrap a chain around here and pull it out. I think I have all of the shift linkage and clutch linkage disconnected. There's the clutch rod coming down and going in the side there. That's removed. Took some supports loose. I'm taking this all down because I want the shaft that comes through that hole, because that's the one that's eaten up on the Unisystem, and I can't get it out of there with the transmission in place very easily because this one is not a hydro. It's got that big clutch housing and it interferes with getting stuff apart to get that shaft out, and I don't want to deal with it underneath the combine. So 4 bolts and we're gonna drop it. So let's get the ratcheting in here. I already have the other one out, so we're down to 1 bolt holding this, or not underneath. And we'll see how long it takes. Ow! Ow! Jeez. Didn't even drop the transmission on my foot, but I managed to smash my finger. Ah, that's what we were waiting for. Whew. Well, I tried to pull that out. Once I got it out, I got the bolts loose, but couldn't get it pried out because I couldn't get up here with anything to pry it. As you know, I got to pry in equal amounts, top and bottom, left, right, at least 2 places. And down there, yep, we're interfering. So I could get out just the hot wrench and melt some stuff out of the way. We'll try to do it nicely in case somebody happens to need any of this stuff. But they're obviously not going to need that shaft because I want it first and more. I should be able to hopefully pull this out based on how things were coming loose. And I think this transmission's been down before. Isn't? I don't know. I take that back. That's a lie. That's a lie. I take that back. It needs a new clutch. Oh, what is... That's not... Okay, well, we are just... Oh, that came out of place. What is... Oh, that can't be good. I don't know what that is. I don't think somebody would have fixed it and left that junk in there, you know? If something fell off back in there in the darkness. Maybe, whatever this is or was. And they should remove that. But I'm looking in here at the clutch. If you look right in there, the flywheel is all scratched up. Okay, so I feel better about this. You know, taking it apart for parts when it's not the greatest. You can see it's heated up there a little bit. But I'm sure this whole input shaft is probably pretty okay. It just needs a new clutch and we should get a new flywheel. And there's a few bolts back there. And hopefully we can just pull this whole big hunk of casting off the side of the transmission to get what I really want. And hopefully I'm not wasting my time, because I don't want to have to break the other transmission in half to be able to put this shaft back in. That one is worlds better. This is kind of entertaining, pulling pieces out of here. This was hooked around the little lever bits here for the thrust bearing, which this wasn't loose. I was able just to finagle it out of there. But what's interesting is something about that. That can't be right. That looks cracked. So that's not normal and good. The shaft is solid, the input's solid, but something's cracked down at the base, and I don't know if that's part of this whole big housing or not. Now I gotta figure out which holes we need to take loose. That's the Rockwell logo right there. I just need to figure out which and how many of these all go through back here. It's probably a bunch of them. I got all the bolts out. There was more than I expected. A total of 8. Not all in a nice octagon pattern or anything. And this already started to come loose. Oh, this is out. Oh, lovely. And we have to put this sucker back on because it holds or seals, which there's no gasket that I can tell right here. Here comes another magical or unmagical moment. We're gonna pull this shaft out. I got the one out of the combine transmission. This one was moving nicely. I didn't hear any plunks. Like everything's staying. And we are out. And the battery's about to die because it's getting cold out here. It is freezing cold. And we're gonna go play tradesies with the combine. Voila. Let's see what's in that hole. Yep. Bearing looks good from this angle. Don't see shavings on anything. We're gonna roll with it. Okay, we're coming up on the magical money shot. Putting this shaft back in. Not that you can see much from that position, but we're just kind of fishing gently, not rubbing too much. Feeling our way for the splines. Felt like we went. Now we just gotta line up our holes. And it feels pretty good. Might be a snug fit going in. This one was real hard to get out on the combine. Get our bolt started. I just used the shim pack that was with this piece instead of trading, assuming they were a better fit, say for our ring here versus the whole transmission casting. Hopefully that was a proper assumption. So that is a useful bit of knowledge that, yeah, these are the same. There we go. Just gotta tighten that up and away we roll. Now we've got fresh new splines, and by being able to swap this, buying this shaft or getting a machine shop to reproduce the splines would probably cost at least $500, and that's on the low end. Way on the low end. So that parts combine's paying for itself real fast. So I was able to rob some good pads off that combine. They got a lot of material left here to go around the band. And the challenge with these is putting them in. You gotta start the top as such, have this all pre-assembled, and then hopefully there's enough give and bend to be able to get these started at the bottom, because then there won't be enough room to get your pins in up top. Or at least that's how I got it apart. And I'm hoping it goes back together the same. Hoping, I'm really hoping. Well, I don't know if this is the correct way, but it's how I'm getting it done. The hardest part's getting this all lined up. There we go. And the farther on you get it, the easier it goes, because there will be less twist. Voila. That's in place. Next struggle, which will only be a struggle for one side. There's springs that pull the bands back. We got to get those in. next, which I don't have my awl back here. That had to go up to the garage. Remember when we put the drum together? And that's ready and waiting. I gotta go get an awl. Hold on. Just imagine me in there twiddling with the awl to get the springs on. There's no trick, you just gotta sit there and play with it. So, as we saw before, I put fresh discs, rooted them myself. Fresh pad material on there, on the drum contraption. And got that all put together. And now that's all slid in nicely. And next thing to do is I gotta go find you know, the master cylinder, or not the master, the slave cylinder to sit on top of this. It was just that easy to slide the whole new drum piece in. Something went well and didn't require hammering. The good news is some of this only seems to fit together one way. So there's like a washer thing that this retraction spring sits in. This pushes the piston back up to release the brake when you let off. And it only fits down in there one way, which is fantastic to note. Of course, I don't necessarily like how it sits there in relation to the pin, but the pin's not going anywhere. The pin's not going to fall out. If anything, the pin's just going to hit the back of the casting. And then we can adjust it because, you know, we've got the cap of the pin on the one side to put our spring. You know, there's where the coil ends. They didn't taper it any. And to sit that so that it hits the head of our pin, okay. And we sit the piston on top there. Might have to find a bolt or two to hold it down. That will help tremendously. So there's a bolt we have to put on the top. Huh. The joys of springs. My favorite memory with springs is watching my cousins play with taking apart the PTO shaft or the PTO assembly on the 1086. It was out of the tractor. They were taking it apart, and there's a big spring in there. And they were taking that last bolt loose, and then zing! There went the cover flying and parts everywhere, because there went the cover off the top. Oh. I just gotta wrench these down real quick. Now going on the top here, it's a slightly special nut, kind of acorned, and it matches, say, the chamfer in the top here. And we'll turn that on as far as we can by hand, but I might get lazy and get a ratchet and take it down. And then we'll eyeball, you know, how close we want to set our pads to our drum there. We have some decent lighting now that we're outside. Unfortunately, you guys missed out on me, you know, tightening these bolts and putting this cover on and putting the couplers on, but this is all external, so you can definitely see what it looks like, you know, once it's put together. I mean, I don't know what's so special about putting a seal in the plate, putting the plate on, tightening bolts, coupler, and driving in a roll pin. But that's all together now, so we'll go ahead and wrap up this portion of the Uni series. And then in the next one, we'll see the feeder house and elevator going on. So we'll catch you guys with more fun farming action here soon.